Hey everyone, this is Eric from It's the DJ, and today what I'd like to talk to you about is a smattering of why it makes sense to start organizing and key labeling your sample library, and how you can use some of that as a fun production step is to start remixing, making your own edits, making your own productions. So first, I want to get into it. And show you this really cool feature of Rekordbox. Now, if you don't know, Rekordbox is the free software that you can use to prep your music files so they can be played, so they can easily be looped and in sync on Pioneer CDJs and XDJs. This version of the software is free. You can, then export and then take your stuff with you on a USB. Great. The DJ or performance mode of Rekordbox costs $130 unless you get it bundled with a Pioneer controller, mixer, or media player, and that competes with Tractor and Serato. So I'm not going to talk about the paid performance aspect of it. I'm going to talk about the free music file prepping aspect of it, because there's this really cool hidden feature that I didn't even know about until this week, and this makes it really fun to have to really put your own spin on your own tracks. How I've been using this is to take music that I've liked that's ages old now and bring it up to speed and put my own kind of stamp on it. So here we go. So the feature, so you know, is you go to these three bars right here and you can do something, export loop as a wave. So here's what's cool. Rekordbox is going to identify and key label all your music. So that's nice to have, and it's free. If you look over here, it tells me the key of this tune is in A minor. Awesome. So one of the reasons why you'd want to key label your sample library is so you can start remixing and producing in a certain key. Other reasons for wanting to key label and really tidy up your sample library. For me, it was I wanted to get more specific. I wanted to really hone in on what I felt was usable, and then from there find gaps, where I was missing stuff, maybe like noises and ear candy kinds of atmospheric samples. I wanted to know where I was weak in my sound collection so I could beef that up and just have some sort of systematic way for improving stuff. Now, so fine, that's all well and good, and I have a whole bunch of tips for you on how to do that in a blog post that I did, but that's kind of boring and unsexy to read. This is kind of why you'd want to do it and some of the end results, right? So here's an old tune. Now I really like a lot of the progressive stuff, progressive house from the early 2000s. So maybe you've heard this tune. It's Nat Monday, Waiting, John Kramer and Stephen K remix. Those guys were massive in the early 2000s. So
how can you say you believe? Make it fade.
So this, I don't really play at 130 BPM. The drums and the mixing and the mastering stuff today hits a little different than how it used to hit back in the day. So if I go back to this cue point, so here's what you can do. You can go right to a spot like this. This song, it's kind of obvious where you would want to export some loops, so you can loop them in your DJ sets if you want, or start putting them in a sampler. But yeah, you can grab this loop. Okay, and you would just go to export loop as wave. Now, I also use the Pioneer to Rise sampler. One thing you probably would want to do, because you're not going to get much mileage out of samples that are 48,000 kilohertz. That's just above and beyond what you would need. And most of the music you're buying, if it's a wave, even lossless, is probably not going to be that high. So you're getting really no advantage by exporting that high. If you go to preferences, you go to advanced, and then you go to others, see, my sampler won't even read it. It will be incompatible at this high. So if you need to change it, that part of that feature is right here. You can do that. So anyway, so once I said, oh yeah, I would love to take this tune and, you know, edit, rework it, remix, whatever you want to call it. I'd love to do something with this. I knew it was in the key of A minor. I already had my samples key labeled. I did that with mixed in key. I don't really use mixed in key much, but it's helpful for dumping a whole lot of samples in, and it'll key label and write the key and tempo into the file name for you. So that's nice. So after exporting these loops, what I did is I just exported to another folder. I forget where I put it offhand. It's on my Tarais, whatever. So here's the end result, right? So I know that this is in the key of A minor. I started putting some beats behind it and some percussion and bass parts that were in the key of A minor. I also time stretched it down, right? Like I don't really play at 130 beats per minute. I'm more of a 125 guy. So what this is, you could consider something like this, like taking classics and making them modern, making your own edits, bootlegs, remixes, you know. So here we go. So yeah, the underlying beats and music is a bit more, you know, moving, if you will. It's kind of a, you know, more today's sound, whereas this is, you know, faster and kind of like an older sound, which is still good. But I wouldn't play this song in its current form right now, but I would play what I'm making, which I'm liking a lot. So anyway, so yeah, so feel free to check out the blog post where I have more tips on how I approached making sense out of my sample library. I don't really have too much. I've got maybe a bunch of different packs over the years. I don't buy too many. And then I also have some Native Instruments expansions, machine expansions, whatever you want to call them. And then what I did is I just put all the stuff, I went through this stuff, put all the material that I really liked into a folder called select samples, or, you know, my favorites, whatever you want to call it. And then I kind of organized it this way, and then everything got key labeled. You see it all: G minor, E minor, D flat, G minor, A minor. So that can really help you out when you're looking for sounds and you want it to be in key, because again, there's no amount of EQ, compression, or whatever that you can process a sound with that's going to fix musical pitch. So yeah, I found this to be a real worthwhile exercise in terms of improving workflow. And then this edit that I've been working on came together, you know, really quick. I laid out the structure of this. You know, I jammed with it on the sampler and put the parts together, and that was fun and kind of a creative flow. But in terms of getting it down into more of a semblance of a track that's, you know, 7 minutes long, whatever, that took me like an hour one morning. So anyway, there you have it. Feel free to subscribe to my site, because you'll get files that I send via email that only go out to my email subscribers. So if you're on YouTube, make your way to my site, and if you like what you see, feel free to sign up to my email list. All right, thanks for watching. Take care.